So once again, to anybody that I offended, I am sorry. And I promise all of you, I will do better.
We are now on day 8 of these terminally online wackadoos freaking out over a jeans commercial, and apparently the freakouts won't stop because we keep feeding these digital lizard people. Hi, my name is Sydney. I'm 5'11", which means that I too have great genes. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in and do the thing, this video is sponsored by Ground News. And as you guys know, I am going on tour in October, doing 9 cities around the United States, where I will get to meet you guys in person. We can take pictures. There'll be a VIP section situation thing. I will be answering your questions during a Q&A. You might get to see me even doing some breakdancing. It'll be a personal, fun show and experience for all of us. So go buy some tickets, link in the description box to come and see me live, and for a limited time, when you use the code GONDOLA, you'll get 20% off for you fun early bird people. I'm very much looking forward to seeing your cute little faces, so you better buy a ticket. All right, let's do the video. My long-term community members are probably watching this video and thinking, 3 videos in 1 week? What is going on? Nonsense, that is what. And for some weird reason, I feel compelled to comment on it. Probably due in part to me being deeply, deeply underslept recently and hanging on by a thread. But I have a bunch of opinions, and I want to mama bird them into your baby bird mouths. Now, over the course of many online years, one very simple rule has developed when it comes to dealing with digital mobs. Never, ever apologize. The reason being that the mob coming after you very rarely cares about your actual apology. What they care about is your obedience. And apologizing absolutely doesn't stop them from hating you, it doesn't stop them from attacking you, and it does not stop them from wanting your head on a spike, like Vlad the Impaler style. It just signals to them that you can be controlled like a good little kneeler. Some of you are gonna make the kneeling thing dirty. Please don't make it dirty, because this is a family-friendly channel. So with so much drama unfolding, basically over the last 2 weeks or so, this online digital progressive mob has not had a second to take a break from being outraged. They have lost it over sort of attractive men in donut ads, attractive women in an Arby's ad, attractive women in jeans, and now a beefy guy paying tribute to his idol Hulk Hogan. But interestingly, in a complete departure from what we're used to, it wasn't the big companies or big celebrities apologizing in the face of backlash. It was the person you would probably least expect. The gym bro, Joey Swoll, whose actual name I do not know. I'm assuming his last name is not Swoll. I don't want to look it up. I am going to assume that a lot of you here who follow this channel don't know who this person is, and that's okay, but this situation involving him matters, and I will explain to you why a little bit later in this video. But for those of you who are not familiar with Joey Swoll, last name unknown, he is a gym influencer who got very popular for calling people out online who behave poorly in the gym, routinely calling those out who film others in the gym, calling out women who attribute innocuous behavior to creepiness, and so on. His slogan here became, "Do better and mind your business," and he has amassed millions of followers doing this. But it seems that our mate Joey has had a bit of a rude awakening recently when he upset the progressive online left for posting basically a tribute to Hulk Hogan in the wake of the wrestler's death, as well as referring to black and brown people as colored people, instead of the term that they prefer, people of color. And as a result, he has basically been kicked off the internet, at least for the time being. And in the wake of all of this controversy, Joey Swoll did the one thing that you should never do when they-thems are screaming in your face. He apologized. So let me give you some context. After the news of Hulk Hogan's death, on July 25th, Swoll posted 2 now-deleted tributes to the wrestling icon. In his first tribute, he wrote that the wrestler motivated him to pursue working out. This was accompanied by a video that Joey Swoll made in 2020 where he dressed up as Hogan for Halloween. The second tweet made a joke about this costume, again saying that Hogan had sent it to Swoll to wear. Of course, the response to this was swift. People took to social media to call Swoll out for memorializing Hogan, accusing him of racism and supporting a racist due to Hogan's past where he used racial slurs, and reportedly made derogatory comments about his daughter's ex-boyfriend, who I assume is not white?
I can't even be remotely funny about this one, so I won't try. I was raised to not disrespect the dead, so I won't say the obvious about Hulk Hogan. But Joey Swoll, you're a fucking racist loser. You're a cuck. You're a douchebag. You're a steroid-using, misogynist, racist tool.
So many of these people are exhausting because they get mad about absolutely everything. As we have completely learned from all of their freakouts over the last 2 weeks especially. Especially considering the absolute mental breakdown with relation to Sydney Sweeney and her jeans ad. And it's funny because when I was discussing Sydney Sweeney in a video earlier this week, I actually immediately went to Ground News just to see what the coverage was like, just to see if I'd missed anything. Because one of the things that I love about this platform, and I know that they sponsor this channel, but I genuinely use them and I have for years, and it's because they show comprehensive coverage of issues. And boy howdy. This showed so hard just how different the coverage is between the left and the right. Normally when I use Ground News to check out topics, it's pretty clear in a lot of cases that one side of the aisle is covering a topic while the other isn't, but in this case, one side, being the left, has 38% coverage, and the other side, the right, has 38% coverage. But look how different the headlines are. Leftist outlets are saying things like, Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle ad invokes racist ideology. Meanwhile, right-wing outlets are saying calling Sydney Sweeney ad racist is why no one trusts the media. So they have two very, very, very different standpoints on this. And this is why I love Ground News, why I genuinely use them on the day-to-day on my app, which I would screen record for you, but I don't know how to do that. On a serious note, it's why I use them, why I love them, because everything today is so partisan and it's so challenging to get to the truth. It's so refreshing that I can see what the left is saying, what the right is saying, who has the most factual coverage. And I know that I mostly consume right-wing media, so when I read the news every morning, I like to jump on my Ground News app, head over to their blind spot feed, and see which stories I completely missed because right-wing sources didn't or don't cover them. Which I think is really, really important to do if we intend on having fully informed, balanced opinions. Ground News has been a very good friend of this channel for many years, and they are 100% subscriber funded, which is why I think it's really important to let you all know that your support is what keeps them alive. So if you too want to break out of your echo chamber and get a fully informed, balanced view of the news, then click the link in the description, scan the QR code on screen, or go to ground.news/Sydney. And don't forget to subscribe through my link for 40% off the Vantage plan, which is the same plan that I use for unlimited access. Now, initially, Joey Swoll doubled down on his decision to post this tribute. During a live stream on TikTok, he said that he can post about Hulk Hogan if he wants to, and if someone makes a mistake in life, that doesn't mean they haven't done good things.
I don't know what he did, and he said something 20 years ago and apologized for it. If you're gonna attack me, you better go after the colored athletes and the people that are black and minority that went and posted him as well. Okay, the man was nice to me, he made a mistake. I'm not God. People make mistakes in life. If you got a problem with that, look at yourself. There's not one single person in here that hasn't made a mistake in their life, so.
Now, realistically, this is where this situation should have ended. Those screaming and crying and pooping their pants over his initial tribute should and could have faded into the background, into nothingness, and disappeared out into the ethers. But if they had, we wouldn't be here talking about this. Instead, they globbed onto Swoll's use of the term colored people over people of color. That of is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. And as all of you probably know by now, the incorrect usage of this phrase breathed new life into accusations that Joey Swoll is one giant racist.
He called black people colored in 2025. The only people still using the word colored when describing people are racist people, okay?
Saying if you're gonna attack me, you better go after the colored athletes. That's kind of crazy. This is a live, so that was just the first thing that came to his mind. The colored athletes. That's kind of crazy.
It's like you tell people to educate themselves on gym etiquette. You don't know colored is not what you're supposed to say. Like, You don't know colored is racist? Be so for real.
Once again, this was another opportunity, and this was an intersection where Joey Swoll could have said, oh well, I misspoke, but you know, too bad, how sad. But like someone who has probably never come into meaningful contact with the vitriol and hate from an admittedly quite small group of people who are just very, very loud, Joey Swoll instead decided that he must apologize. And it wasn't a good one. During his apology video, Swoll said that he would do better, and said that he now knows that Hulk Hogan has done many horrible things, but doesn't explain what those things are. He said that he had deleted all of the offending content, and he would never use the term colored people ever again because it is so offensive.
So once again, to anybody that I offended, I am sorry. You know, my whole page, my whole brand is based on holding people accountable and doing better. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't hold myself to the same standards. I am human, I am still growing, I am still learning, and I promise all of you, I will do better. I have nothing but love and kindness in my heart. I will continue to try to make the world a better place. And once again, to everybody, I apologize.
So, fun story from my life. I was once in a group of friends with some people that I didn't particularly know very well. And in the course of conversation, I referred to mixed race people as halfies, just cute little halfies. And someone who was in that group basically got on my back about it and chastised me and said, "That's so racist. How could you say that?" And because it's me and I just don't care, I was like, let me consider that for a second here. Let me just think about how much I care about what you're saying. Oh, it's 0%. I care 0%. Get away from me, you absolute dork. I think halfies is cute. I don't know how other people don't think it's cute. I am a halfie, albeit a white one, but you know, I'm from 2 different places with radically different cultures. Barbecue and wildlife do murders land, and fat people rolling around on scooters land. Halfie. Who gets offended by halfie? I just, like, it really goes to show people really are fragile about everything. Anyway, here's where the Joey Swoll story gets extremely interesting. As expected, his apology did absolutely nothing to stop the left from being mad at him, and if anything, it led to even more angry videos.
And I'm sorry doesn't fix racism. Like, that's not how I'm sorry works. That's not how apologies work. You say I'm sorry when maybe you like spill some water on your friend's floor, then you clean it up and all is well, because that's just a small little thing. Racism, you need a more than just an apology, especially with Joey Swoll specifically. His apology, he only made it after getting a ton of pushback.
But from right-wingers, who I'd likely argue make up the majority of his audience, the response was one of disgust and anger, with so many people commenting on his videos saying that he shouldn't apologize to these people, that he has nothing to be sorry for, and the more he kneels before them, the more that they'll call for blood.
I lost a ton of respect for Joey Swoll when he apologized for posting a picture of him in a Hulk Hogan outfit saying, "Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan." But instead, you let the political police bully you into making an apology video for something you had no business apologizing for.
I would have never thought that someone that built his entire platform off of anti-bullying in the gym would be bullied down to his knees with his mouth open to the woke mob. Joey Swoll, never apologize to the woke mob.
Eventually, after all of the backlash, Swoll tweeted that all of his good work had been for nothing, that no matter how much good you do, people are waiting for a reason to tear you down, and he was done. In a now deleted second tweet, he followed up by saying that people are calling him weak and a quitter, and he is. But after people started harassing and threatening his family, that's where he drew the line. He finished his post by saying that he needed time to breathe. Maybe instead of breathing, he should stop injecting himself with growth hormone. Just a thought. I'm sorry, I'm genuinely not here to comment on the guy and his choice to do steroids and his body type, or, you know, I'm not here for any of that. I'm sure he's very nice. But seriously, no one believes that these are natural traps. The reason I find this situation so interesting is, well, there's a couple reasons, but number one, and just to set the ball rolling, if Joey Swoll had simply ignored the initial backlash, the tiny bit of initial backlash to him saying anything about Hulk Hogan, this would have gone away basically immediately. The internet's memory is like 15 seconds on a good day. Even when he doubled down and made his colored people comments, if he had just continued to ignore this and say nothing, this also would have gone away. So the irony here is that his entire undoing, it seems, is because of this apology. Because as we have learned over the last number of years, honestly probably over the last decade, when you apologize to these kind of mobs, it is never enough. It does not stop them from coming at you. It emboldens them, and when they see you falter, they come at you even harder. Do not make that one dirty either. I see what you're doing, Simon. For progressives, an apology is not a resolution. It is an admission of weakness, a chink in the armor that they can exploit. So Swoll's whining, complete with his promises to do better and disavowing Hulk Hogan, did not pacify these people, it fueled them, as demonstrated by the clips that I showed you. TikTokers here have just piled on, accusing this guy of performative allyship and saying that he is dodging accountability because he hasn't groveled enough. And this is a hallmark of the cancel culture that these people love so much. Apologies are rarely accepted at face value. Instead, they are dissected for their flaws. They are used as evidence and proof of deeper guilt, and if they're not sincere enough, then they're outright rejected. For many conservatives and right-wingers, on the other hand, and like I mentioned, I would argue this is probably the majority of his base, Jim Bros and traditionalists, when people apologize to the progressive mob like this, it is seen as an abandonment of principles. I have to imagine that they view Swoll's initial stance and response, him defending his Hulk Hogan tribute and then shrugging off the outrage as it came at him, as sort of him taking a stand against cancel culture's overreach. To them, his pivot to groveling signaled cowardice, capitulating to a very vocal minority who often weaponize language to achieve their ends and control narratives. So for many of us on the right, and I dare say in the center and maybe even center left, this is a pattern that we've seen emerging over the last number of years. The moment that someone apologizes, they are admitting guilt where none existed and handing over power to the perpetually offended folk. And on the other side of things, I think this is why people are enjoying this Sydney Sweeney American Eagle jeans situation so much. American Eagle has gotten smashed with criticism for days now. Sydney Sweeney has been called every name under the sun, and I'm sure you've all seen the ever-increasing lunacy being spewed at all of them over all of this, with people actually crying as the result of these ads. But here's the difference. In this situation, nobody has apologized. Nobody has fallen to their knees and begged for forgiveness. They didn't even blink. No tearful Instagram lives, no press releases promising to do better, no deleted posts. They just kept on trucking, letting the internet scream into the void. And guess what? American Eagle has been rewarded with a huge number of sales. Sydney Sweeney is more popular than ever. Because I think people, as a general rule, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I'm going to attribute this to a lot of you too, I think a lot of us are just sick and tired of seeing weakness all the time. We are so sick and tired of seeing people capitulate when it comes to a little bit of controversy. We have been exposed to a decade or more of this, and people are sick of it. I am sick of it. Sydney Sweeney's and American Eagle's lack of apology, their non-existent apology in this day and age, is a bit of a power move, and it signals confidence, and I think it's why so many people are excited about this situation and why they respect both this individual and this company now. Joey Swoll handed his critics a megaphone, and Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle handed them a mute button. And the public's response, sales for American Eagle and disgust for Joey Swoll, kind of signal how people respond to these situations now, when someone stands firm and when someone crumbles. Because I think we're all done watching apology theater. I think people are done watching weakness play out just to save face. So Joey Swoll is a guy who may or may not have done something wrong, but to be totally honest with all of you, I don't really think that matters. The important thing here, at least to me, is that these two situations side by side, that of Joey Swoll, that of Sydney Sweeney and the jeans commercial, really signal the way that people overall are feeling about online cancellations and online bullying and mob rule. I absolutely think that this is yet another leftist progressive thing that is falling by the wayside very rapidly. Because like I have said to you all recently about previous topics that are similar to this one, I just think that people have had enough. I think people are sick and tired of being dictated to by this crazy group of people on the internet, and honestly, I think that Joey Swoll might actually be one of the last influences to go down this way. I am not talking about, by the way, the people who do genuinely illegal or borderline illegal or like actually really, really bad things who deserve to be held to account. They're not who I'm referring to. I'm okay with them going down. In the end, I really love stark situations like this because it absolutely indicates to me that culturally things are changing. Online culture is changing. The very loud, terminally online progressive left do not have the same power that they used to have. So I do think that I can say one thing here with a little bit of certainty, and that's this online group of people who love to force people to say sorry are about to hear a lot fewer of them because their online shrieking does not have the same power that it used to. Now on that note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out Ground News using the link in the description. They have been a long-time friend of the channel, so if you are interested in a great news aggregator, absolutely check them out. Now I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Do you think this juxtaposition is really interesting, that Joey Swoll has apologized and people all over the place have lambasted him for it, and American Eagle and Sydney Sweeney have not, and people are supporting them? Do you think that this is representative of the fact that this issue has been pushed too far in one direction and people are sick and tired of groveling and cowardice? Do you think that Joey Swoll should have apologized, that he was in the wrong, that what he did was incorrect? Do you think that he should have stuck to his guns and never capitulated to this online angry group of people? Do you think that it's a good thing that we are moving away from online apologies? Do you think it's a bad thing overall? And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you are not subscribed to the channel and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, as well as leaving this video a like and a comment because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. Of course, in the interim, I hope you little chickadees stay safe and well and make good choices because those are important, and I will see your happy little flower pot heads in the next video.